Well. Good evening, and welcome back to another episode of Turnbuckle Talk with myself,
Woohoo.
JJ Dub, and the man across the room from me, Mr. Samtastic. Yes,
What is up, everybody?
we've had a couple of weeks off, and I take the blame for that. With deciding to have a little holiday, and then deciding to allow someone to cut through the cables of my internet and put it down for a little while. So,
I've
yeah, I
been
do
here the whole time.
apologise.
I've been waiting.
So yeah,
Just so everybody knows.
go. I do apologise. So yeah, over
It
to
is what it
you.
is, mate. I'm glad you had a good holiday. Dude, it's been a mad couple of weeks, obviously, since the last episode. We've had
King and Queen of the Ring.
King and Queen of the Ring, and followed by another Raw, followed by SmackDown, then by another Raw, then another SmackDown, and it's been a bit mad. It's been there's been a lot going on in the WWE world as well as the wrestling world in general, but obviously we'll cover WWE. But yeah, SmackDown. I mean, I'll go back to last week on SmackDown.
So yeah, the
So
fallout from King and Queen of the Ring. That one, really, isn't it?
the following one from King and Queen of the Ring. Firstly, Heyman deserves an Oscar. The
Oh,
way that Heyman was in that ring and he begged and pleaded with Kevin Owens not to get involved in the bloodline. The emotion he portrayed, the story he told, the way that he pushed it all across, he was so, as always, he's so convincing. He tells the
he is
story.
Hollywood.
Pardon?
He is Hollywood. Paul Heyman is
He
Hollywood.
is, yeah. He is, yeah. You bring that side of Paul Heyman is amazing when it comes to that side of things for the wrestling world, and he's driven by passion and love for the business. And I don't think there's any better storyteller that isn't a wrestler. There's no better storyteller, and I've said
No,
this before, but yeah, that I mean, I loved that segment with him and KO, and then obviously that led to the new Bloodline coming out, and then we had this whole tee up with Randy being out from King and Queen of the Ring.
yeah,
So we've now had Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins step up, the Street Profits, to
yeah,
join forces with Kevin Owens, which was an unlikely trio, but I quite liked
yeah.
it.
A surprise.
I
Yeah,
quite liked it as a trio.
surprising. Yeah, surprising. Link up between the two.
Yeah,
You wouldn't put them two together at all.
I wouldn't, but it makes sense as well because obviously you had
They've
Angelo
had a bit of
Dawkins
history
take.
now, so
Exactly, they've got that history from the King and Queen of the Ring
mm,
qualifiers, and they're a little bit involved with that. And I like that for the Street Profits because although they're not in the main event picture, so to speak, all the time, it gives them an elevation because they're tied in with the bloodline now. So by default, they get elevated, which is great. I think they deserve a bigger push.
oh it's definitely helping out where their direction as a tag team at the
Yeah,
moment. It because if it weren't for this whole being put in the bloodline, they're just going to be stuck in that round robin of going round with them, AOP, and um,
yeah,
I forgot their
probably
names
the
now.
Alpha Academy. Well, not so much
But
the Alpha Academy at the
they're
moment,
going to
but
be they're just going to be whacked in that little round robin of tag teams that they're going to keep facing off against each other, and
yeah,
one of them's going to end up just facing
yeah, exactly. And
for the
it's
tag team
nice to
titles.
see that. That's exactly right,
But
and
they're
it's nice
going,
to see the differences there, and that they're being changed, having a change of direction.
yeah, they're just getting it's keeping them fresh. It's getting them
Yeah,
more experience for their all-round ability, as opposed to just seeing them high flying in the ring every week.
yeah,
We get to see a different angle of them, not always wrestling, but they're coming out to aid someone, or they're there to
exactly that.
disrupt. They're not just there just to be a bit of the furniture, and I like
Yeah,
it because I
I
don't
like
think
it. Yeah,
I think they're when you look at it though, they're like the perfect tag team for this, as opposed to you could probably say AOP maybe because they're like big brutes, but I don't think they're as entertaining as the
no,
Street Profits
no.
on that
I think
front.
the Street Profits have that connection with the fan base more.
Mm.
AOP, we saw last time when they were in WWE in their first tenure with WWE before they were released and brought back. Again, they didn't get pushed to the heights they could have been with the size that they are. They don't. they're not on the mic so much. It's normally
Mm.
Paul Ellery or Karrion Kross that gets on the mic. And again, for me, that whole team, the Last Testament, is a pointless. It's a pointless union of people because Carrion deserves better. I think Carrion deserves a relatively good singles run up on the higher mid card, like US title kind of placement is my opinion. To put him together with AOP and Paul Ellery, it doesn't really, and I said it previously to you, it really doesn't make a huge amount of sense to me. I can
No,
see how they could run with it, but the WWE aren't doing that.
no, not at all. You can just, yeah, like you say, they're stuck. They're literally
Yeah,
stuck in a rut of,
they are in limbo, aren't they? They're just like you say, they're in that same tag team scenario where they're going to go back in circles. They're gonna face one team the next week, and then that team is going to be facing them again in 3 weeks' time for the number one contendership. And it's a bit, that side of it's a bit tedious and a bit overworked, and
like,
it becomes a bit boring.
yeah, that's what exactly what I was going to say. It's just it becomes boring. It doesn't
Mm.
want you to. You don't want to just watch it because it's like, oh, this again. It's
Yeah,
there's and
exactly.
nothing else is going to happen on that front. You know that nothing surprising is going to happen. It's going to be,
And
oh,
it's
they won last week, so they're going to lose this week. We
yeah,
know that.
and
Like,
that side of things, we've got this new era with obviously Paul Levesque controlling things, and it's been a lot better in a lot of different ways. We've seen people elevated to heights that we necessarily wouldn't have seen. We've seen
mm,
people pull out all the stops and give us great shows and higher ratings and a reason to watch WWE and a reason to want to go back every week. But they are still falling down in some areas. If you
yeah,
take Andrade, for example, I won't go too far forward because obviously we're recapping, but if you take Andrade, came back at the Royal Rumble, didn't see him for a few weeks, and then teamed up with Ray at WrestleMania because of the Carlito angle and everything. Didn't see him again for a while, and now we are where we are today. And without going into it, well, I'll just delve into it. There's no point in hanging about it. It's not a huge
no,
segment to cover, but all of a sudden he's the Speed champion.
yeah,
I
it's
mean,
not
what again?
a great fit at all. It's a
I
guy.
don't. I
It's
don't.
another guy with immense talent. Like he's
Yeah,
got a lot of
exactly. And
talent in the
this is
ring, and
where WWE are falling short with the likes of these talents because Andrade should be up in that main event picture. In my eyes, he's got that
yeah,
talent. He's known by the fans. The fans know what he can do. He should be up in that title picture. And don't get me wrong, I love AJ Styles. I know we've got this angle again with Cody and AJ, and we'll go back to that. But Andrade should be up there, making his way up closer to that. That he should be on the rungs of the ladder making steps, but he's not. If anything, they're stepping him back again.
it's annoying because like
Exactly.
the people you see in that bracket that fall down are the ones that sort of just need a little confidence boost, a little like Nakamura. Like, where's he gone? Where's Shinsuke gone?
I'm
He's
not
just
even sure
vanished.
that they need a confidence boost. They just need to be told, okay, we've got a storyline for you. This is what we expect from you. But they're just not given anything.
No,
So
it's
they've got nothing to show off. But then again, maybe it is that the talent need to go, well, actually, they've given me this. And although it's not the biggest role, I'm going to grab the ball by the horns. I'm going to show them
yeah,
why
like
they should give me a big role. Maybe it's a catch-22
it could
situation.
go two ways, I suppose. I know what you see, like
Yeah,
what you mean. It's like, but yeah, I just personally don't see Andrade needing to be there at all. Like, he doesn't need to be
no,
nowhere near it. Whereas, like someone like a Baron Corbin, it would be perfect for him because he can then help with the younger and upcoming talent going through
yeah,
that. And like I say, Shinsuke, where's he at? I can't remember the
yeah.
last time I see
Shinsuke,
him.
I love Shinsuke, and I said it from the day that he debuted in WWE because I knew of Shinsuke, I knew of his history, I knew of his talent. I'd seen a few of his matches on YouTube and knew he'd be good for WWE with the right push. But again, he's another one that they've fallen short on, and they've gone, we're going to sign this guy, we're going to bring him over. The fans know him, the fans go mad for him, but we're going to do nothing with him. And it's really disappointing to see. And on that
Absolutely
same
nothing.
note, the one that they're now falling short with hasn't even appeared, and that's Uncle Howdy. They
Oh
are dragging
yeah,
this out so much right now. and I've seen
It's gone stale,
QR
in
code
my
after
opinion.
QR code, QR code after QR code, hints of Uncle Howdy, hints of the White Six. I'm done with it. I'm bored of it now. And I know that I'm not the only one. I know you were getting bored of it the last time we spoke. I've seen comments all over social media. They're getting bored of it. That we're at the tail end of it now.
Mm.
WWE have dragged it out that much that we are at the tail end of it. It's whittling off. And unless you get the right six, you are not going to be able to make it work. And it's just going to completely ruin what Bray started.
Yeah, exactly that. It's just gone stale to me. It's like I can't even get excited about it anymore at the
No,
moment, unless, like you say, they got the perfect grouping in there, and then they come in and sort of just destroy, like
yeah,
literally just destroy. They can't just come in
it's
and
got to be
speak about
special.
something. They've literally got
Yeah,
to come in now like a wrecking ball and absolutely fuck shit up. Like they've got to cause disruption across the whole board now. That's the only way I
yeah.
think they can revive it.
And the only way that they're going to do that is by sending them to Raw. Is it makes no sense because they're running this new angle with the Bloodline on SmackDown with the new Bloodline as
Yeah,
the dominant team. So they have to be on Raw. It's the only way to make sense because if they come in and decimate the Bloodline, then everything they've worked for the last 4 years with Roman and the Bloodline is just wasted. So it has to
one
be that
hundred
they assert
percent.
themselves on Raw. It's the only way, but it has to be something fucking special, like really, really special. Because at this point, I'm so done with even thinking about it now. When it comes
Oh,
up, I'm just like, okay, it's another QR code.
yeah.
What of it?
I'm not even bothered with the QR codes now. Like, I just,
I've
it's got
I
to a
didn't
point,
bother
and
from
it's
the
like
beginning.
I was keeping up with a few, thinking, oh no, it's like this is cool. Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
coming, it's coming, it's coming, and then it's just still, it's coming, it's coming. Yeah, but
it's coming.
when
It's
the
do you know
fuck
what
are
it's
you walking through the door?
do you know what it reminds me of? And I hate to put WWE in the same bracket as this because it's quite bad. But if you look at AEW Fight Forever, the video game, they announced it as this next best wrestling game. It took 3 years for them thereabouts to release it, and then it was the worst wrestling game people have seen. Like the worst wrestling game since
Yeah,
bloody I don't know, but it's terrible. I've not played it because I've not even bothered to check it out. But if you
nah,
look at all
I
the
know.
reviews and
I've
the
seen a lot
feedback
of
from
stuff.
fans, it is you drag this out for so long, saying it's coming, promising us this amazing feature, and we're bitterly
Mm.
disappointed. And I'm really worried that that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I can see it now, and I'm gutted for it, but at the same time, where I've lost so much interest in it, I just don't care now. I
Yeah,
really don't care.
I just wanted to bring it up because it's one of those things that is some built up frustration that I needed to release. And
Yeah, I mean,
obviously
it's not even on my
we're here
notes.
we're
Like,
here
it's not
we're
even
here to
anything
it's not even on my
to
notes,
talk
dude.
about
It's not on
anymore.
my notes at all. But
I'm
I
over
needed
it.
to bring it up.
Yeah, no, no, no.
It had to be brought up.
I've
It had
always
to
got
be
something
said.
to speak on it, but at the same time, I'm
Yeah.
just like, I'm not going to
Yeah.
write it
I
down or
mean
bringing it up if we
I'm
don't
not
need to,
I'm
because there's nothing to talk
I'm not
about
gonna
anymore.
mention it now.
It's
I'm not gonna mention it from now.
whereas,
Not
like,
unless something actually happens.
yeah, like you look at like now, like say we've got the angle, like you've got the bloodline. It. Some people are still finding it tough with the bloodline, which I understand because obviously there's no Roman, there's no Jimmy, and it's
Yeah.
obviously now led by, well, I say led, Solo has proclaimed
Is the
himself as the
interim, so to
tribal,
speak. Yeah, yeah.
and obviously his right hand man, Tama, and then they
I
anointed
hate
Toa, Tua, the
Tonga.
big guy. They anointed
Tonga
him on
Loa.
Friday, but I don't mind it because you've got Paul Heyman there still, and he's keeping everything alive there. And although, right, off camera, obviously everyone hates Solo anyway, but off camera, right, when you see fan made like videos and stuff,
Yeah, yeah.
Solo's hilarious because he gives it straight back when they give it to him, the fans.
Oh yeah, I
Because
bet he does. I bet he
did
does,
you
and I
there
love to
was a
see it.
video I see from this Friday. There was some fan shouting at him, going, "Where's your daddy? Where's your daddy?" And he turned around and went, "Ask your mum," and walked off. And I was just like, "This guy."
But I love that.
But he said it, laughed, and just strolled off, like as
Yeah,
if like don't care. Like
I remember. years ago, there was a video of CM Punk that surfaced on WWE, and someone turned around to him and said that he sucked and said something else. And he went, "I bet you watch TNA, don't you?" This was when TNA was like WWE hated TNA. Everybody did dislike TNA at this point, and CM Punk just went, "I bet you watch TNA."
I
Well, that's
think
the biggest insult you could give a wrestling fan at that point in time.
I think it's got that. Some of them have got to do that though because they've got to keep
Yeah,
that anger towards with the fans, like of being hated. They can't.
it's playing the part and doing really
Yeah,
well, and that's
you've got to
exactly
do
what
it.
you need.
You've got to be like that on camera, yeah, but you've
Yeah,
also got to be like it
yeah,
off
yeah.
camera, where only
Well, especially when you're in an
it's
arena of that magnitude, because everybody's still filming. You don't know when the camera's
yeah.
shut off because just because you're not live on your cameras doesn't mean you're not being picked up by someone in the crowd. So
No,
if you want
not
to keep
at all.
kayfabe, that's the best way to do it.
And yeah, I don't mind like this type of solo at the moment.
Yeah,
Like he's still like rusty around the edges, but
yeah.
he's still
But
being a
he is
dominant
now,
force. He's still asserting himself, and he's giving
yeah,
Heyman the chills
exactly.
24/7,
And the thing
which
is
he's got to
now
do.
he will only grow from here because with
Yeah,
Roman out of the picture and Heyman still heavily involved with the bloodline, he will now be getting one-to-one tutelage from the god, Paul Heyman, who has
yeah,
brought up so many people as a manager and as a promoter and a business owner in the past that unless Solo is stupid, which I don't think he is, I think he's a incredibly clever bloke.
mm.
Unless he doesn't listen to Paul Heyman or completely does something wrong, there's no way he can't grow under the tutelage of Heyman.
No, like I say, like he's for me, he's getting better week in, week
Yeah,
out. But
yeah, yeah.
what I found extremely funny is that now he's adopted the spear, and
Oh,
that took me by fucking surprise because
I don't
I
mean so I
just
surprised. I
expected,
watched the highlights and I was like, "Holy shit!"
I was just like expecting him just to fall back and then run in with the old Samoan
Yeah,
spike,
yeah.
but he was like, actually, no, I'm going for the spear. I was just like, what? I was just like, what the fuck has just happened
I
here?
know, I know. It's crazy, but
So another Samoan with just taking the spear on.
well, this is the thing because obviously Jay took it on as well. And is it going to become the super kick of moves? Is it going to become so overused that eventually it's just going to okay, it's another
Probably
spear?
it might do, but yeah, I still thought it was a like
I
a what the
miss
fuck moment.
I miss the days where a super kick meant a super kick. You would take a super kick and that was it, or you'd do a double team super kick and that was it. But now you just see everybody doing it. It is the
Yeah,
most overused move in wrestling in general,
they
in
need to
my thoughts.
protect. They need for me as well. They need to protect finishers again. Like
Yeah,
we
exactly.
can't be seeing every week someone kicking out three, four finishers.
Yeah,
They need to
exactly.
protect them. Like
Well,
in a
if
big
you look at
match, yeah, they can kick out
yeah,
the odd one
exactly.
like
That's what
here
you
and there, but
expect. Yeah.
it was never seven finishers later. Oh, now I've got him.
But if you go back to the early 90s, Jake the Snake Roberts, perfect example, right? DDT was his finisher. Just a DDT. It always won a match. Whenever he hit that DDT and he was over to win, it's very rarely someone would kick out. And if they did, they would only kick out of one
Mm.
because they were protecting them. And again, you've seen now, who
Hulk
have we
Hogan
seen in
was
the past?
another, the leg drop.
Yeah, the
Like,
most boring finisher ever. But yeah,
but it was
um,
protected to
yeah,
be what it
it was
was.
protected. And then look at Baron Corbin. They did it right with Baron Corbin. Nobody had ever kicked out at the end of days until Drew McIntyre. Like Drew McIntyre was the first and only person at that point to kick out the end of days. That's a finisher.
Yeah.
That's it. That's a great finisher. It's a great looking finisher. You can see how it finished the match, and they protected it. That's what they need to do. If somebody's got a sweet chin music, aka Shawn Michaels, or someone else has got a super kick, protect it. Don't hit 60 super kicks in the middle of a ring in
No.
one match.
It just takes everything out of the match. It takes everything away from the finisher as well itself.
Well, I
It
mean, look at this is what we said about Crossroads Trinity with Logan Paul. You
yeah.
know, the fact that Cody had to hit at King and Queen of the Ring 3 Crossroads to nail Logan Paul with that pin diminishes Crossroads in my eyes, and I know it does in yours as well.
And it also takes away what it meant when he beat Roman as well. because it made
exactly.
perfect sense why he hit three
Makes
to beat
Roman look weak.
Roman, because you could, like, this is the third time you fought him in a big event,
Yeah,
so you're going to hit him with three, and it fits the story. But
exactly.
now you're hitting it three on Logan Paul. Why are you hitting three on Logan Paul?
Exactly. You
You
only
don't
needed to hit
need
one.
to.
They only needed to do one. I know we kicked out
You've
of one, but then they could have done one later on, and that could have been it.
Yeah,
But
not three. It made no sense. It was like,
yeah,
what are you
exactly.
going to achieve from this? Like, don't get me wrong, the second half of that match was utterly insane. It
Yeah,
lifted off.
it
It
was
did not
it was a
need,
slow build.
yeah, but it did not need that type of finish
No,
to it. It just
I don't
needed
believe so.
one crossroad done. Like, it would
Yeah,
have won the match perfectly, and no one would have batted an eyelid.
no, I think so. I think so. I completely agree with you, and I think it has diminished the crossroads in my mind.
Yeah.
I think they could have done it better with just the one. But overall, with that, obviously, we haven't spoken since King and Queen of the Ring.
Yeah, well, we have, but not
We have, but
on
not
air.
via podcast or on a voice
Yeah.
chat or anything. So what were your overall impressions of the event as a general and the results? What were your overall thoughts and impressions of King and the Queen
To
of
be
the Ring?
honest, I wasn't I didn't hold high expectations from it, because in my eyes it's just a money maker. That's all it is.
Yeah, I remember you saying this previously.
It's
Yeah,
not it's not set out like your normal pay, like PLEs. It's just there to make lots of money, because the Saudis will just pump as much money as WWE want into it. So
exactly.
it's there.
Let's line your pockets, come over and do an exclusive
Yeah.
event. Yeah,
But on a level though, some of the matches that I was into, like, they were really good matches. Like, obviously, even the women's Queen of the Ring, like, and then you had the tag team, obviously
yeah.
Jade and Bianca. That was a good match.
It was a good
Like,
match. I was really impressed with Lyra Valkyria against Nia Jax.
yeah,
She did
at
really
times
well.
I really thought that she was going to win it.
Yeah,
Like, she was really
yeah, yeah.
putting every, like, she
But that
paid into that.
I think that's elevated her
Yeah,
because she's come into the main roster. She's got to the final. She's had a hell of a fight with arguably the most dominant female on the roster,
yeah,
and she's come this close to beating her on
it
one or
was,
two occasions
and
in that
it
match.
literally was that close
Yeah,
until the
exactly.
end, when Naya, the experience, so, like, comes into
I've
play
got to
at that
say,
point.
Nia Jax is obviously a tall girl. She's a bigger girl. She's bigger belt than most of the women. So that spot for that finish where Lyra is going to try and do a turnbuckle powerbomb and try and get her over, and Nia Jax just goes, "I'm just going to do the Annihilator right now." I thought that was a good spot to finish it. It's
Yeah,
simple, but it was very effective, and I thought they
yeah,
did carry that pretty well.
100%. And like, you can see as well with Naya, she's definitely looking a lot better in the ring and out
Yeah,
of the ring since
I
coming
think
back.
so. She's got to have
Like,
be doing something right.
yeah, I was with you when we was talking about it. Like, why the fuck they bringing her back? Like,
Yeah.
they've seen what she's done before. Like, it's only going to carry on. But
Mm.
personally, she's changed. Like, she's changed a lot. And
Her mic skills are better. She's so much better as a personality in the ring. You want to hate her. That's what she's doing a great job as a heel in that sense.
yeah,
Her in-ring ability, she's definitely improved. I agree with you there. Um, she's less stiff. She
yeah.
seems more relaxed and more comfortable in that element.
That's, yeah, 100, like, 100% on that. And you can, but when she's doing a promo or something, you're buying into it now.
Yeah.
You're actually, like, interested in what she's bringing to the table, as opposed to
Yeah, whereas
before. It was
before you would have
just,
just shoved it aside and gone, "Oh, I don't even care."
no, but she wasn't even brought to the screen that much like
No.
she is now. It was just sort of, we'll just use her as, go flatten someone and then walk off. That's it.
Yeah.
Like,
I think
but
that's
now
I
she's
mean, I think it's
actually,
the right thing to do.
they've obviously, they've, going away has helped. She's come back
Yeah.
refreshed with a new path, and
Yeah, yeah.
like the creative side have seen that, and they've seen what her best abilities are, and yeah, they're using it. And at the moment, she is queen, and
Yeah.
she's deserving to. I probably think that she might even. Well, who knows? Actually, to be fair, with
Mm.
where this title,
I
who
mean, yeah,
who's
it's.
going with it, what, where, when.
I mean,
But
let's.
that was
So with that picture, that brings me to one of the talking points that I put on, and I said this to you. This push that's happening at the moment. Obviously, we've seen it happen with various people for one reason and one reason only. It's to try and make the fans happy. Piper
yeah.
Niven is being forced down our throats. And okay, she's pretty good on the mic. I'll give her that. She's pretty good on the mic. I liked
Although she
her.
does sound very much like Drew McIntyre, and I did get a bit confused on Friday night. I'm not going to lie.
Did you close your eyes when you were listening to her by any chance?
I had my headphones on and I went to get a drink, and all of a sudden I was like, "Why the fuck is Drew on Friday night
On
SmackDown?"
SmackDown.
And I walked in, and then all of a sudden it's Piper Niven. I was like,
It's Piper
"Hold
Niven.
up, what's going on here?"
I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't dislike Piper. Let me just say that for the record before I carry on what I'm saying. I don't dislike Piper. I think she's great in a tag team with Chelsea Green. Doesn't make sense to me, but they work well together. They seem to feed off each other
Chelsea
quite well.
does my head in.
Chelsea does my head in too. Don't get me wrong. Um, but Piper is not a main eventer. So this is clearly a push, like they did with Jinder when they were capturing the Indian market. Okay, we'll give the Indian the WWE Championship.
Yeah,
And this is what they're doing. Piper will not win on Saturday, this coming
it
Saturday
makes no
at
sense for her to win.
Cashley Castle. Exactly.
There's there's been 2 weeks of it,
Yeah.
which they're just
There's
trying to
no
like
elong.
obviously.
Yeah. Exactly. It's just like okay, we're gonna give the local lass a shot at the opportunity, and I can respect that. Marketing it makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Like you've got
That's
a
all I'll say on the man.
the
it's,
Scottish,
it's a
like
pipe.
she's
It's a
she's
pipe.
got to be
Yeah.
involved in some sort of a match. It was either going to
Exactly.
be that or the tag
Yeah.
team titles, but and then I don't think they're the ones to push Jade
No.
and Bianca in the tag team division. There's a lot
But then again,
like there's
who
better
is?
angles, and we've seen that
Yeah.
angle from Friday night. Like
Yeah. Exactly. But yeah. So
so,
for me, Piper is just it's a novelty push. Just wanted to
yeah.
get it
I,
out
I
there.
could
That was one
see
thing.
I could see them probably. They could. I reckon they could put on at least a 3.5 star match. It won't be dull.
Yeah.
It won't be dull,
I don't
but
think it'll be dull, but Bailey
that
needs somebody that can elevate her as well because she can be a bit in the ring. Not always, but
no.
granted, she can always put on a relatively okay to good match to great if she's with the right person. I
But what
don't
will
think
help?
Piper Niven's that person.
No. But the other side to that is what will help this match in particular, with Piper being in it, is the crowd. So
Yeah,
that crowd will be
absolutely.
an extra elevator for Piper, who can then obviously push that hopefully into Bailey, and then
Yeah,
we get this better match. Like because that crowd, honestly, is going to be insane.
you thought France is insane.
Wait till you hear the Scots. Honestly,
Exactly. That's my point.
like
Exactly.
they've already riled up the Scots themselves by
Yeah,
putting the Clash poster up, but they put the Rangers shirt
yeah.
over it as opposed to the Celtic shirt, and now
I know.
it's riled the fans. I know Drew's a Rangers fan. They're pushing Drew. Obviously, Drew's the
Yeah, yeah.
poster boy for this, but
And
yeah, it's
he
getting
will
them
come
worked up.
out.
It's firing
And I
them.
guarantee you he will come out in a Rangers shirt as well.
Oh, there
He'll
will
be
be
wearing his
something.
kilt. He'll come out with Angela. I want to see Angela again. He'll come out with Angela and he'll be wearing a Rangers shirt.
There'll be something, but honestly, it's no, I'm looking forward to it. Especially, I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Clash. I think
Yeah, I think so.
it's been built up quite a bit, and
And
yeah,
it's one of those that has to be because it's got some big matches in there.
on that go stand with King and Queen, and obviously the next match that within the women's division was Liv and bloody hell, I've forgot her name already now.
Becky.
Becky,
She's
that's
only
it.
been gone 2 minutes.
Jesus Christ, my mind just went totally blank then. But yeah, Liv and Becky, and honestly, I thought that was a brilliant match. Although
It was a
I
great
wasn't
match.
too when I saw Becky come out, it was like one of those memes where it's like, so I've got wrestling at 7, but and then I've got a meeting at 9 because of
Yeah.
her attire, and I was just like, surely she's not wearing that in the ring, and she did.
Uh,
But I thought
yeah,
it was
she
a
did.
hell of a match, and as predicted. Liv is now
The
the
real mummy.
new. And this storyline, mate, honestly, oh my God.
Can we not talk about this storyline because it's going to make me very upset?
Dominic Mysterio is a
No,
lucky son of a bitch.
let's just not go down that road because I will get very upset. As many as I'm guessing 99.9% of the male audience will.
But I'm still, pushing that Dom is helping Liv, but he's not showing it.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's
Like
slowly.
there was angles. Obviously, you had the kiss, and you saw little parts of him after, and he's like got the little smirk as if like
Mm,
he knows it, but he can't show it, like say it.
yeah,
And then obviously the week
this
after,
is
when she's come out with that weird promo to make him feel so awkward, kicking him into the corner. It was when like she rugged the hair after, and then he looked at the camera and you just saw him like, and even Pat McAfee caught up on it, and he was like, "Was that a little smirk from him? What's he do?" Like picking up on that, and then
exactly.
yeah, and then obviously she come out and protected him from Strowman,
Yeah, I did
and
not expect that at all. I mean, it makes sense because
Finn's a bit jealous, isn't he, as well? He's the
is he
one that's
jealous or is
stepping
he
in every
pissed?
time.
I mean, he's the one that's stepping in because I think again,
Well,
if you
they
look
were
into it,
OGs
Finn.
together, weren't they? So
Yeah, exactly. Finn. It was Finn and Rhea that convinced Dom to leave his dad and join the Judgment Day. They were the ones that played that big part of going, "Come to us. You can thrive with us, and you're not going to with your dad. He's going to hold you back."
yeah,
Um,
I
and lo and
think
behold, he is
Dom's
thriving.
come. I was gonna
When
say
we
he's
were,
come a long way now. Like
I
I
just love
don't.
the fact that even a year and a half later, however long it's been, as soon as he picks up that microphone, he opens his mouth. He doesn't even get to say a word,
Oh,
and the
he's
crowd
great.
will just boo him. You know he's doing such a hell of a job as a heel when you can't even say a word because the crowd are just booing you to shit.
But he's playing on it so well though. Like
Yeah,
it doesn't
he does.
affect him one bit, and
No,
that's where you can see how much he's grown
yeah,
as a wrestler. The fact
he's
that
taking that energy in and he's
yeah,
using it to elevate himself as with his mic skills at least, his wrestling skills. I think his wrestling ability is getting better. I think it could still get better.
yeah,
But yeah, he's definitely, and the storyline that he's in. I mean,
he's
I
so
don't even.
fucking
Yeah,
lucky at this
exactly,
stage. Like, but it's
exactly.
interesting to see because I've seen a lot of different theories on it, but I think the best one I've seen is obviously Liv's come out and saying that she wants to take everything, right?
Hmm.
So the end game to her taking everything after Dom is taking her spot as the leader of
Judgment
the
Day.
Judgment Day.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that seems more realistic than the Judgment Day crumbling and just like dismembering, basically. Like,
I don't want to see the Judgment Day crumble. I like the Judgment Day. I think they could do a lot more with the Judgment Day, but I think they're a great group, and I think they all gel well together. Ethan, and yes, I am using Pat McAfee's new name for him because I think it's amazing. Even JD McDonough.
Dumber, Bobblehead Jim, whatever you want to call him.
Bobblehead Jim.
Like, this guy, he's again like he's showing a bit more of what he can bring to the Judgment Day rather
Yeah,
than just being serious. He's like, yeah, he's the funny guy of the group. He's the comic one where everyone can watch things and have a little giggle and
I think that's why he
take the
and our
stress,
Truth were put together for that segment with the Judgment Day because they bounced off of each other.
which is great. I think I like it, and I think Finn's thriving in this whole Judgment Day.
Yeah, I think so.
Again,
I
though,
think
it's
so. I
like
think
where's he like the Priest, and then you've got Priest as well. But Priest, I think at the moment he's showing that
Priest is still
he's a great
he's still
champ to me at the
teetering though.
moment
He is a great champion.
because he's taking care of business constantly.
Yeah,
He's not like shying away from a challenge.
no,
He's not
exactly.
shying away from whoever. He's coming out. He's giving it
Yeah,
on the mic. He's
absolutely.
then like with the whole him and Drew. Drew tried to take him out, and then he was like, "No, no, 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 no. I'm the champion. You're going down."
Yeah,
And then took Drew out. Like took care of that business. Took care of Rey
yeah, yeah.
Mysterio. That business. It's like he's doing what a champ should do.
Yeah, he's like a leader almost as well. Is regardless of that goal, he's leading while Rhea's not there. He's stepping up to the plate to make
Yeah,
sure everything's held together. He's the one that's coming out and doing damage control.
but it's like what is Braun Strowman's angle as a whole at the moment? Because he's obviously out for the Judgment Day, but
I mean, he's obviously after the Judgment Day, but again, I don't
why?
know
What?
why. I don't know what's brought it about. I mean, obviously he's come out and he's come out for the save a couple of times, and I mean he's increasingly gone after JD McDonough, especially. I mean,
Yeah, I
look,
just
he cost Becky her bloody title shot at the rematch because he shoved Dom into the cage
yeah,
and hit Becky.
which I thought was added extra fire to that angle.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
like
definitely
I
did.
say
Because then
now,
Liv's gone. Oh, he's helped me.
yes, it's
But yeah, I don't know. I'm confused as you are, about the whole
I
Braun
like it though
situation because
because everything about this whole Judgment Day and like what angles we've got and what's happening, what's like it's all so up in the air still because
yeah,
obviously we've got Rhea off screen at the moment, so she's going to come back at some point. But I feel she's coming back as babyface. I feel Liv is going to completely wipe her out of the Judgment Day, and she's coming back
yeah,
as
you might be
babyface.
right. I mean, Liv is already on that heel because she's already on the revenge tour.
And
She's
it's not
already
even
trying to get revenge on Rhea anyway.
well. She
But
took the title. She basically took Rhea out. She took the
yeah,
title. She's
she's
near
almost got
enough
Dom.
stolen Dom, and that leaves one thing: the spot of the
Yeah,
Judgment Day. And if you look at it, Finn's not really. He's just sort of blocking her from Dom, but he's not getting angry about it. He's not putting anything in place about it.
no,
Like
he's just saying go, just stop.
Priest is just a bit not really bothered. He doesn't seem bothered about that. That's their business. They need to do
Yeah,
whatever they do with it. And then obviously Bobblehead Jim just is running away from Strowman, which is
can
hilarious.
you blame
So
him? Have you seen the size of the man? I mean,
and Carlito's just Carlito.
I still
So
don't know. I know Carlito obviously is trying to work his way into the Judgment Day to protect himself from
protection,
LWO.
yeah. Which
I see
is
that.
you've got to go to the biggest faction, the main
Yeah,
guys
Like
for that
Sammy did when he
protection.
went to Bloodline. When Sammy
Yeah.
went to the Bloodline and was like, "Look, I'll do anything you want me to. Just let me in. Let me
Protect
be a
me,
part of
yeah.
this group." Yeah, yeah,
Which yeah, it makes
but
sense that especially
yeah,
for Carlito for what his character is, it makes sense he goes into another faction like he did obviously with
yeah,
LWO and now he's obviously
yeah,
broke that friendship and he needs someone to protect him from being outnumbered week in, week out.
yeah. Exactly, exactly that. Um, I do want to touch base on the most controversial match of the evening at King and Queen of the Ring, which is it's disappointing. I'm glad that Triple H acknowledged it on the night. I'm glad that they're
I
going to
feel
run
he
it
had
back.
to. I feel he had
I
to
think yeah,
acknowledge it though.
we all saw it. Everybody saw it.
Yeah.
Randy Orton's shoulder was not down.
No,
It
I
was
don't know
quite
if it
clearly up.
was. Yeah, I don't know if it was actually part of it, if it was meant to happen, or.
I
But
don't know.
whatever it was, they acted quickly on it because obviously straight
Yeah,
away there was so much backlash on
yeah.
social media that
Well,
yeah,
there's going to be, isn't there? Yeah,
see there. Obviously, Byron Saxton was straight on Triple H, like, "Did you see this? Did you know?" Like,
yeah.
and then he's got to be like, "Well, yeah."
But yeah,
But
I saw
I'm
what you
glad.
saw exactly.
I'm glad the way he done it though, saying the refs
Yeah,
decision
you
is
have to
final,
respect the
which
ref's decision. Yeah,
that's I agree
that's
with
how it
that.
should be. Yeah,
But we need to run it back because it wasn't
yeah.
a clean win. There was nothing clean
No,
about it. But
and
the
then that's
ref
the thing. I
didn't
don't care
see
if
it,
it's for.
so the ref has done what he's
Yeah,
done.
I don't care at this point if it's for King of the Ring or not. It was a great match, and I think they both worked well together, Randy and Gunter.
Yeah, it
I think
was
yeah,
brilliant.
it was a
It
good
was
match,
great
and
back
I'd
and
love to see.
forth.
It's just a shame that Randy's gone out injured since then because he's only just come back.
Yeah, I
He
don't
came
think
back at
it's. I
Survivor
think it's more a
Series last.
precaution, to be honest with
It
you,
might be. It might be. To be fair, I
because
mean, I hope that is the case. I hope he
if
gets
you look
cleared
at
soon and he comes back.
if you look up to the build up of it, he was obviously wrestling week in, week out,
Yeah,
and there was this knee injury, but again, we don't know if it was
no,
there was something there. So I think it's more of a precaution just to
I
look
genuinely
after
hope
him
so
because
because
obviously of what he's been
yeah,
through. previously,
which
which
is understandable.
I
You got to look
I
after
agree
your
with,
talent. Yeah,
and he's one of the
totally.
top talent on that roster.
Yeah,
So
of course he's. Of course
you've
he
got
is.
to
Absolutely across the
you've got
board.
to protect him. But yeah, there's got to be. I don't know what stipulation will be involved in it. Like, are they going to put the number one contenders on the line?
Don't know
Obviously,
because
Gunther is king. They're not going to take that away from him.
no, they're not going to take it away from him. It says, yeah, if Randy beats him, does he get a number one contender spot
Or does he get his own
against?
contender spot and Gunther keeps his? Which
I mean,
I think, I
it's
think there is an
hard.
end game there for Randy versus Cody. I
It
think
has
there
to
is an
be
end game.
because other than which I wanted to go on to next anyway. Other than AJ, who is there for Cody at the moment? Because they're stuck.
Have you
They
noticed it though? Going to Bailey as well. Neither of them two, the SmackDown champions, have any
no,
clear
exactly,
rival.
exactly. Well, Nia
There's
Jax obviously, but again, that has to wait until SummerSlam because
so there's
that's the
no,
stipulation of the
yeah,
Queen of the Ring.
they're not crossing enough. They're not
No,
crossing paths to that point. So it's
no, they're
like
not. So these two are stuck in limbo. So I
it's
see that
annoying.
AJ running it back with Cody. I see the aggression. Like I
Yeah,
said, I like the
he
AJ.
brought out something different in Cody
Yeah,
these past two
and I
weeks,
love.
which I love.
Yes, he has. Yeah, that's what I was going to say as well. His promos have been on fire. I actually believe that Cody is pissed. Not when it first came to him on the camera. He was like, "Ruh, ruh, ruh, ruh." I was
It
like,
looked
okay,
weird
you
though.
look. But when he did the promo this week and said, "I want you in an I Quit match,"
Oh,
I was like, "Oh shit!" I believe he's pissed now.
I love that.
I
I
believe he's pissed
love
now, and he wants that.
I love that they've given this type of match as well, and not just have
Yeah,
it as a one-on-one.
yeah,
Now
yeah,
they've actually like put a bit of meaning to this fight. Like they've
yeah.
actually like the way obviously it went down with AJ retiring, and like you
Oh,
brought up,
AJ Henry.
never trust a guy in a light suit, and even
Yeah,
Mark Henry has come out and said how much he loved it because obviously
yeah,
people
yeah.
were comparing
Well,
it to
like
like,
I
oh,
said to
we've
you,
seen this before. Like,
yeah, it's like I said to you when on the YouTube they cut it out of the highlights and stuff, but when you watch the YouTube footage, you AJ goes, "So with that said, there's one person I'd like to bring out." Says Cody, you said you come out, and you can hear the guy in the crowd going, "Mark Henry!" So they knew straight away what was happening. But like
oh,
Boss said to us, going back to the past 2 weeks, it's very interesting that Cody has been seen without his title.
yeah, it's like the only thing you look at from that is like if they're changing something to it, but they would
I mean,
normally just do that
Cody
straight
brought back.
away.
No, I mean, but I don't know though. I mean, Cody brought back the IC championship pretty quick into his reign. He brought back the old school IC championship, which I love. I love
Yes,
that championship. I'm gutted that they,
I don't know. Yeah,
you
it's
know,
just a champ, especially of his caliber. Like he is the main, like
he should be
he's
carrying it
the
everywhere though, right?
undisputed champion. Like he should be hugging onto that championship. He should not be letting that championship go.
I'd be wearing it around my neck while I have a shit.
Literally, like I'd be wiping
Exactly.
my ass
It'd
with
be
it.
sat round it. Yeah, exactly. It'd be
Like,
sat round with me. I mean, look,
yeah, it's
Paige
very
took her
interesting.
championship everywhere.
So yeah, is that like a sign of AJ's gonna take the title before he goes?
I don't know. I mean, I would love to see it. I would love to see it. Do I think it's the right time to do it? It's not because of how quick the reign would be over for Cody. But if AJ beats Cody, holds on to it for say 6 months, and then Cody comes back for a rematch and takes it again, that could
SummerSlam.
also work.
Mm,
But
yeah,
it has. I have to see. I think you're in agreement with me this on 100% for it has to be for the championship. I think Cody versus Randy has to
oh
happen at
yeah,
some point.
that's got to happen. Like I say, that is the end game, and I don't know where it happens because obviously you've got another guy that will come back and take on Cody, which is The Rock. So he's got that feud to come at some point, and then
But this is
obviously
what
Roman, because the Bloodline want that title back. So
yeah.
But at the same time, it's like if they're coming for that title, and is The Rock going to be in charge of the new bloodline, and are they going to
Well,
go
this
for the
is the thing.
title? Is the old bloodline with Roman in? I just fucking, I just want to see Roman. Like, I miss him.
I think everybody does. To be fair, I think everybody does. You know,
Like, it's the same with like Seth. I miss Seth. I want Seth
yeah,
back on my screen at some
yeah,
point.
yeah.
Like, it's certain like
I agree.
it's not it's not because I want them back because there's something missing. Like they need to be back. I just want them back because they
Yeah,
bring
because you
so
enjoy
much
them.
to the
Yeah,
table right now.
they
Like,
do. They do
and
absolutely.
with
And this is the
these
thing.
storylines that are happening on both shows, they're perfect just to throw in
Yeah,
and just call and just disrupt shit. Like
that's exactly it. And I love
they
Seth being
can,
on Raw. He's like the top. Him and Drew are like the top two people to carry Raw for sure. Don't get me wrong. Damian Priest is doing a great job, but to carry the show is Priest and McIntyre, McIntyre and Rollins.
yeah.
And the
I love
same
Drew.
for them.
I love Drew. I
I love
love
Drew.
this guy. I
Drew's
love
doing his
that
best
guy.
work at the moment. Drew's doing his best work, and I
Like
love the
he's
fact
just
that. But I mean,
everywhere.
what happens? Because I mean, we keep flitting back and forth, but I don't care. I just love chatting wrestling. You know that. Um,
I think we've got to though. It's easier this way.
McIntyre, McIntyre for me. I'm just going to throw out predictions at this point for Clash of the Castle. McIntyre wins.
Oh,
If they screw him over at Clash of the
I.
Castle in Scotland when they made him lose in Wales
There's
to
only one
Roman,
guy that will fuck this up for him, and
there
we
is
haven't
only
seen
one
him
guy
for a
that mucks it
we
up
haven't
for him.
seen him for a little while.
I
This is the
know,
thing.
I
Something's
know.
going to happen. Like,
And there's footage of him in the gym getting better with that arm. He's doing exercises. He's getting that arm
and
in
then
shape.
obviously you've seen like Drew in Scotland, obviously helping with like the promotions and stuff, and obviously like
Mm.
when he put the
He put
picture of
the
Punk,
crying face on the
yeah, like
screen.
there's still an element that
Yeah,
he
yeah.
hasn't gone away from Punk from
No, but yeah,
McIntyre's mind.
McIntyre's
So
very aware that he's going to be coming back very soon, and
it's
McIntyre's not forgetting that.
I just I want Drew to hold that title and walk onto Raw with the title, but while Punk's about, I just cannot see it. Punk is gonna. I can see him getting screwed over in Scotland. As much as it pains me to say that,
I mean, like, I want Drew to win. That's my call. Drew's winning, but I see what you mean. I'm not going to disagree with you that it isn't a strong possibility.
it's so difficult. Like,
But we had this discussion before. You know, you turned around to me and said You said Bronson's Reed's winning it, and I told you. I said no. I said Sammy is retaining. Sammy is retaining.
yeah,
Now this is
oh,
going to be interesting because obviously we've got Gable and Sammy. Gable is obviously up for contract negotiations.
yeah. Well, so like I was saying earlier, what I'd seen, obviously Russo has put forward that obviously where he's in like the insider,
Yeah,
Gable is set for the title at some point. It's there. It's been
yeah.
written in at some point. So I can't see Gable leaving. I think Gable's
He's been at
head.
WWE for so long.
It's not just that. He's written into such a intense storyline right now.
Yeah,
There's no way you leave while you're doing your best work and you're
no,
on top of your
I
game.
don't think so. I think if anything, it's just a better point for you to turn around and say, "Well, actually, I want more money,"
Yeah, which
and
like
renegotiate a great contract that is going to be good for all of
yeah.
you, for everyone.
And like I say, he will win that title, and I could probably see it at Clash. To be honest with you, they might push it
It could well
earlier
be.
because it then sets up an inside jealousy and an
Yeah,
anger because obviously Otis and Gable are coming head to head.
yeah.
So then there's that rivalry that he can push with Otis, and we can actually then start seeing the best of Otis again.
Oh, and I love the fact that the crowd are so behind Otis at the moment. It's going back to when he
Yeah,
was with, the days of him being with Mandy Rose and winning the Money in the Bank. And I love
I
I mean,
still
he's going to
cracks
turn
me
on
up the
Gable.
way he won that though. Still cracks me
I
up
know,
how he
I
won that.
know,
It come up the other day, and I was just like, "Damn, that was just hilarious." Because
I
it's
know.
like catching it, and
I
it's like,
love Otis.
"Huh,
I
huh."
know. I love Otis.
Oh,
I think
he's great.
Otis is great.
He's doing. He's like he's thriving at this in this little
Yeah, and he
role
doesn't
that
even
he's
need
in
to
at the
say
moment.
anything. That's the thing. He doesn't say anything. His actions do all the talking, and it's great. And everyone's
Because
cheering for him. And I love the fact that Sammy's trying to turn him,
yeah,
but
I
then
love that this whole bit of he didn't see what happened. Obviously, when
yeah, and Sammy was like, "No, it was
with
Chad,"
the
and Chad was like,
pre,
"No, Sammy hurt Maxine." So you can see
yeah,
how much Otis cares about Maxine.
yeah, but
And
how
then
much he
it's just like,
likes
well,
Sammy and how much Chad's
yeah,
annoying him. But if you're hurting his girl,
he's got
he's going to
that
go for you.
loyalty to Chad. Yeah, and if he believes Chad over, it's a good angle. It's a good angle.
It'll
I
be
like it.
interesting on Monday with obviously Sammy versus Otis because they're going 1-on-1.
Yeah,
So it'll be an interesting
but Gable's going to be at ringside shouting the
angle.
odds.
Oh yeah,
I love Maxine. I love the fact that Maxine is stepping up to Gable and
yeah.
stopping him
I
from
really
beating
like that
people, and
that
she's getting
she got
involved a bit
involved
more.
there. And obviously
Yeah,
Tozawa was going a bit under the radar in this though because he's
I
starting to
thought
step in a little bit as well.
Tozawa stopped him the other day, and when he got in Tozawa's face, you could see Tozawa getting angry and stood right next to him like nose to nose. I thought, fucking hell, Tozawa's going to kick his scrawny ass right now.
Yeah,
And I've heard whether this happens or not is a different issue. But Kurt Angle, we spoke about this before. We both said that Kurt Angle would be great as a manager for Chad. Kurt Angle has already said that he's open to come and be manager for Chad if that opportunity was to arise.
so yeah, again, that is someone you want in your corner, like you'd love in your
Yeah,
corner
yeah,
at
absolutely
times.
it is.
Which that's going to be interesting. But yeah, I don't know.
I don't
I
know. I
could
mean,
see like I see your point. Obviously, Sammy to retain just to this point, just to obviously build this. There's a chance to build a bit more heat around it all. But at the same time, it doesn't. There is sense to Gable winning now on two
yeah,
fronts. Obviously, keeping him within the business. You've got your
yeah,
title. You can have your run, but also you've got another rivalry that you can start
exactly.
within
And
Otis. So
you don't want to drag it out too long either, to the point
no,
that it becomes just the same two people. We've seen that in the past. The whole thing with Becky Hogan when Becky won the championship. Everybody said, "Oh, but we've just seen the same people." Charlotte Flair, for example, in the past.
mm,
Um, you don't want it to be the same people. Yeah,
no.
okay, Sammy's going to want a rematch. Chad will retain more than likely in the rematch, and then Sammy will start again with another story, and then hopefully
Because you
it'll
got
be
Money in the Bank
Otis.
coming up, so Sammy could drop the title and then be put into the Money in the Bank
Yeah, I mean, there's only one
scenario.
person confirmed in Money in the Bank at the moment, right? And that's
Well,
Jay.
he's self-declared himself before even.
Declared himself that he was in it. Yeah, like kind of like a Rumble thing. Like, oh, I'm going to go for. I got one more surprise for you this summer. You want to hear it? Yeet.
I
I'm going to
mean,
grab that briefcase. Yeet.
like, yeah, he was always going to be in it no matter what. It's
Yeah,
his style of match,
yeah,
really.
yeah. I think
It
so.
suits him.
But
But
does he end up winning? I mean, he's a crowd
I mean,
favorite at the moment, but
he's
again,
got to win. Surely he has
they've
to win.
dropped
You
him on
can't.
his ass so many times. They've dropped
Yeah,
him
but
against Gunter. They've dropped him against
you
Roman. They've
can't
dropped him
you
against
can't call yourself main event if you're not winning a
no.
main event. What
But
is the
he's still in
point?
the main event.
But it doesn't. You're not winning them.
No,
It
you're not
doesn't.
winning them.
There's nothing to it.
That
Like you've lost
that
all the
nickname
big.
doesn't make sense to me at the moment because, like you say, you've got to be winning matches. And so far, he lost against Roman. He lost against Gunter for the IC Championship. He lost against Gunter again, going up for King and Queen of the Ring. He's just Again, they've got him up there. It's a bit like LA Knight. He's up there with the crowd. The crowd are loving him, but they're just not
I,
got it to that stage
like
yet.
I
Where
love. Don't get me wrong. I love Jay. I'm one of
yeah,
those. I'm well on his side. I'm in his camp. But something's got to happen. He's got to
yeah,
win something
yeah,
meaningful
exactly.
to make this whole
Even if
main
it's just
event
the
Jey
IC,
Uso
even if
work.
it's just the yeah, I mean, I think he just needs a good title run as a singles competitor. I mean, you look at him, he's highly decorated as a tag team wrestler. You know, he won multiple tag team championships with his brother, longest reigning tag team champions ever in the history of the business, as in WWE, that is. Won the tag team championships with Cody. The only
For
thing he's
like
not
a
done is
week, but yeah.
yeah, but they got drunk and enjoyed the
everyone
press conference
everyone
afterwards.
forgets
Yeah.
about them winning that, but yeah.
Then
It's
again, when Cody came back and Cody spoke to Drew, I totally forgot that Cody and Drew had held tag team gold together years ago. It's not one of
yes,
those things that you think about at the time.
nice. It's strange, but like I say, because he can't go on an intercontinental run
No.
because there's only one picture of that at the moment. Obviously, yeah, the world championship is still something he could be thrown into at some point
Oh my
because
god.
there's no constant clear path of
I
rivals
mean,
towards
Drew
Priest. Like,
McIntyre already fucking hates Money in the Bank. He's made that clear. He hates. So let me get say Drew McIntyre this Saturday coming up, Clash of the Castle, wins against Priest, goes onto his storyline by Punk, beats Punk, but in the same time, at the end of that match, Jey Uso comes in with Money in the Bank and takes it away from
do you
Drew.
know what though? It would make sense because
It
obviously
would.
Drew hates Jay because he stole his
Yeah,
spot. Well,
exactly.
stole his spot in King of the
Yeah.
Ring. So
But
for
then there
him
was
to
also
lose
the
that to
history,
Jay
yeah.
would be fucking hilarious. But at the
And the
same
fact that he
time,
hates Money in the Bank at the same time is it's just adding salt to the wound.
so there is a possibility. There's huge possibility there. But yeah, I don't know. Jay, he's got to win it. He has to win it. I don't. It doesn't matter
He's
who
got to
you've
win
got in
something.
that. You've got in that because it's meaningful. It's a main event. It gets you the main event as well
Exactly.
by having that briefcase. So, and to be honest with you, renaming the Money in the Bank briefcase to Yeet in the Bank or something, it makes sense. There is
Mi-
advertising
Mr.
that you could
Yeet in the
play with
Bank.
that. Literally
Yeah.
though,
Well, like Senior Money in the Bank with Priest, when he won his.
there's chances to obviously have to promote things and advertise it
Yeah.
on that front, which obviously as a business, a lot of them see it that way. So
Yeah, a lot of people look at it and go, okay, what merch can I sell from this?
yeah, but yeah, he's like I say, has to. But and then at the same time, do we see Sheamus get put into the Money in the Bank?
Oh, I hope so. I fucking hope so.
And to be honest, if he gets put into that Money in the Bank, I want him to win it. I don't
I
care.
mean, let's face it, you get what is it, eight? Is it 8 or 6 that go into Money in the Bank?
6, I think, isn't it?
So let's say 3 from SmackDown, 3 from Raw. Who do you have? Jay, Sheamus, and one other from Raw. Who's it going to be?
Dragunov, maybe, or Bron
Yeah,
Breakker.
oh, maybe. Yeah, or Braun. Or Braun, yeah, that's not a bad shout. But then who do you have from SmackDown? Randy,
Carmelo
maybe.
Hayes, 100%.
Oh yeah, Carmelo, definitely. LA Knight, but then again, LA Knight's got this angle with Logan at the moment. I
Yeah,
think
I don't think LA Knight is put into that bracket. I think
no,
he's.
I think LA Knight wins the US Championship
Yeah,
against Logan.
Logan's coming off air for a while, so for
Well, like
obviously
you said,
that
he's about to
reason,
become a dad.
yeah, and he's already part time, so
Yeah.
he will drop that
So
title.
we're gonna have the denim vest wearing
Come
Aladdin.
Well, on this,
What a promo by Logan! I've got
Jimmy,
to say that fucking brilliant
yeah,
promo.
oh yeah, it's great to come out straight after as well. After obviously after Night saying,
It was great.
if you won't come to SmackDown, I'll bring SmackDown to
Oh,
you.
I'm gonna play your games and I'll come to you. Yeah.
But yeah, so obviously, yes, Carmelo, Jimmy still hasn't been seen. So does Jimmy get put into this because the Bloodline don't want him?
No, but
Does it
yeah,
sort
I
of
see
like
where you're coming from. But
reunite him and Jay
I
for a
mean,
potential getting the Usos back together as well? Because
elevates the tag team division again immediately.
so yeah,
Whichever
that
brand
is
they're on,
like, does
elevates the
Jimmy
tag team
help?
division straight away.
Jimmy help Jay win
Oh
in
well,
that?
it's already destroyed it for him twice, right? What a way to
So
make it up to him and get the boys back together because he helped Jay lose to Roman. and then he cost Jay against Gunter for the IC Championship. Only makes sense that to get back in his good books, he helps him win one.
Because Jimmy needs protection. Jimmy needs his brother
Yeah.
back. Like the bloodline don't want him. They just want to destroy him.
Yeah.
Like they're done with him. So yeah, he needs. So does he get thrown into that ring? And then yeah, who else from SmackDown though? Who could be put into that?
It's a hard one, isn't it? Because I mean, I'd want to see Randy in it,
Does
but he
like
doesn't need to be in it
no, I don't think
by any means. He
he
doesn't
needs
need to
that.
be in it at all.
But
But I think
that last
it's a
spot,
hard
right?
choice for
You've
SmackDown.
got an angle coming up with A Town Down Under.
Oh yeah, of course you
Waller
had.
and
Yeah, yeah,
Theory
yeah.
are starting to turn on each other.
It's not that they're starting to turn on each other. Waller is showing his true colours. Look
That
at what
one thing
happened.
they think they're
He
better than
shouted
the
at
other. They
yeah.
really
He
they're not a
shouted at
tag. They're not equal.
yeah.
One's
But
one. They're always one
they're trying to
up
pit.
in each other now.
Yeah, exactly.
So
And
is
look
that
what
sort
happened.
of yeah? They face off to qualify. To one of them
Yeah,
gets in there maybe.
maybe. I
They're
mean,
two
you look at what
shouts.
Waller said, what about Austin Theory being relevant again since he's had the Grayson Waller rub? And then obviously
Yeah,
this week he's pulled Austin Theory into that suicide dive from Johnny Gargano.
yeah. And then but then also I saw I can't remember who said it now. I don't know if it was Randy, but said that Austin Theory's got no obstacles in where he's going to become a world champion.
Yeah,
So it's sort of
exactly.
just adding speculation to where he could end up going, which I don't think there's any obstacles. I think he's got that running. You saw it up until when he beat Cena, and then for some reason he
Well,
sort of fell off
you
a little
saw it,
bit.
and well, it's because of Vince McMahon. He was under Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon wanted to push Theory. You know, you look at you. I mean, Vince made no bones about it when he was there. He was like, "This is the guy that I'm going to push. He is the next big thing." And then obviously Vince took a step back because of all the allegations, etc. Then he came back 9 months later, and the Theory hadn't been pushed in the same way because well, who was it? Even somebody said to him, "We haven't got Daddy around anymore, so you're not getting that limelight." In a promo, I can't remember
He's
who it was, but someone said you haven't got Daddy around anymore.
but yeah, he's that don't like you can see that he's got a main event ability in him. Don't get me
Yeah, yeah,
wrong,
absolutely,
but yeah,
absolutely.
like being pushed at the way he was, yeah, there was obstacles in the way
Yeah,
because it was just going to end up. He was just going to end up on the wrong
that's it.
side.
But
But
then also,
building him up slowly this way, I think, is building a better character for himself
I mean, I think what's going to happen
and
is
a
I think
clash
they're
of
going to lose.
egos.
They're going to lose the championship
DIY, I
to
think, are taking that.
DIY. And I think DIY deserve it. They're a great team. I love Ciampa and Gargano. Um, and I think they'll blame each other for losing it. Something's
Yeah,
going to happen. They're going to
they'll
blame one
turn.
another, and the egos, like you said, egos are going to clash, and then they're going to clash together. That's going to put a storyline for it, and then they're going to be set up for a qualifying match. Whoever wins goes into Money in the Bank, and I see it being Theory.
Yeah, I do. Like nothing against Waller, but I think
No,
Theory's the one
Waller's
that
great. I think
that'll be
Waller's better on
pushed.
the microphone than Theory, but Theory as an all-rounder is better than Waller.
Yeah, 100%. And like I say, like Theory had that push, and he looked
Yeah,
good at times going into obviously beating John
yeah, yeah.
Cena, which is annoying that Cena loses these stupid matches at times, but it helps the other guy,
Helps every guy because if you can beat who is arguably,
Cena.
if you look at, so John Cena, I saw him in an interview and he said that he looks at the GOAT as not just wrestling ability, but somebody that did something huge for the business and elevated the business to, a magnitude that's never seen before. Um, and for me, that's why Cena is the GOAT or one of the GOATs. If
Mm,
you say GOATs, I'm looking at four. It's a Mount Rushmore of wrestlers. And John Cena is up there because of everything he did for the business, not just as a wrestler, but the things that he's done, the sacrifices that he made. Like, look at what he said to Roman. I took the United States Championship as an opportunity. You took it as a demotion. And he started off, he was like, I haven't main evented WrestleMania for X amount of years. I opened with the United States champion. And for me, that was a privilege to open the show.
yeah,
And I think that's it. You've got to look at people that are going to elevate the business, and I think Theory could be one of those people.
He's got he's got it there. He's just got
Yeah,
obviously got to be he's just got to be
but
coached
I
right.
think
He's got to
him,
he
and I think
needs
that's why,
the
yeah, and
right
that's why beating
push, the
John
right
Cena,
mentor.
but beating John Cena in a way for Theory was, it wasn't wasted. It was wasted in the sense that once Vince left, that push had stopped. If they'd
Yeah,
carried on that push with Theory, it would have been a more a more relevant um, win for him, if that makes sense.
yeah, definitely. And it's like it's sort of it's started again. It's going to start
Mm.
again. So yeah, it's I like that in a tag team though when obviously they're obviously champions, but the egos start to collide
Yeah,
with one another and
we've seen it in the
an
past with
implosion.
major tag team champions, haven't you? There's always something to split them up. I mean, you look at the Mega Powers with Hulk Hogan and Macho Man. Macho Man became paranoid that Hulk was hitting on Elizabeth, and then they got into, and then the same with other tag teams that you've seen, like HBK. He got a big ego because he was better than Mighty Jannetty, so he threw him through a window, and and shit like that. It
Jealousy as
happens,
well,
and I
though, isn't
can,
it? It's
yeah,
jealousy and obsession. That
yeah, exactly. And I think that's the thing. We are going to see it, and I think then Theory gets pushed. If not to the main event straight away, they're going to push him up, and you'll see him at LA Knight in the near future for the US Championship.
yeah, because like I
Sorry, I
say
got a
on
bloody
that
mozzie.
that LA Knight is going to be the next
Yeah,
champ. Like he's been
but
pushed. Like
he deserves it. He deserves it. The least he deserves it.
yeah, he needs gold. He needs gold around him.
Yeah,
He's got it. Like don't get me wrong. Like he's great as a wrestler, but he's a wrestler where you want to see gold around his waist. Whereas
yeah,
there's other wrestlers that they don't need to touch a championship. They don't need to go anywhere near it
no,
because what they do week in week out is just as good as them holding a belt.
yeah.
But yeah, LA Knight, he just deserves a belt. He really does.
He
He's
does.
just
He does at this point. Yeah, absolutely. I totally
he's
agree
looking
with you. And the
fresh.
United States Championship would look good on him. And he's getting older. I think he's 41. He's still,
It's
the
mad, isn't
same
it?
as
Some of
Priest.
them,
But
like it's mad. Like when you think like in
yeah,
their 40, but they don't look it. Like I know, obviously,
no, not at all.
they look after themselves with the best care whatsoever, but still, like some of them
Yeah,
look, some of them look like 20 years younger than what they are.
I know exactly. You wouldn't think, like, looking at them, like you say. I mean, when I first saw LA Knight in TNA as Eli Drake, I would have thought he was in his mid-20s, but he wasn't. He was in his 30s, coming up. And when I found that out, I was like, damn. I was like, he looks so good for his age. He
Yes,
looks
but like you
really good.
say, like you touched their Priest though. Like Priest didn't blossom till
Yeah, I
late,
didn't think he was 41. I
and
didn't
now
think
all
he
of a
was 41
sudden
at all.
he he just he made the right moves and
Yeah,
boom, he's world champion. Like it goes to show that if you put the graft in at the right time and take the
yeah, yeah.
opportunities you're given,
I think that is the thing. It is
even
timing as
if you
well.
don't agree with them, take the opportunity and
Yeah,
you will reap the rewards. And
yeah,
he's blossomed that. He's hit the top. He's done it. He's become the pinnacle.
yeah, exactly. He is. And I'd love to see it. And again, like you say, LA Knight is one of those that deserves it. I think, and it's great that he's having the feud with Logan Paul. I think their two styles will mix really nicely.
Mm,
Definitely both egomaniacs, in the sense that LA Knight, although he's a babyface, his ego is, I know I'm great. And with everybody saying, I love that at the end as well, with everybody saying Logan Paul. Just that little touch at the end of his promo. His promos are so much better. His
it's
promos are so much better.
like, it's one of those where you've got the crowd on your side. The crowd
Yeah,
will join in with your promo. It's even if it's
yeah,
one, it's just one word.
yeah,
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 but it's so effective.
yeah. I mean, we'll look at what Stone Cold is the prime example of that. It's the one chant that still goes now when
Mhm.
everybody's on a microphone. The
Yep,
one thing that everybody says is what?
it's crazy, isn't it? But if you
Yeah,
use it correctly, it becomes an effective tool,
Exactly.
and you get the crowd on your side with it.
And look at Daniel Bryan. Everybody still chants yes as well. Like, yes, yes.
That was
He
that
hasn't done it for
literally,
years. And he's
but
still wrestling, but he hasn't done it for years, and it's still
it was a
prevalent.
movement that stuck because it was
Yeah,
just it was perfect how
yeah,
it come about. It was,
exactly.
yeah, it was just peak. It wasn't forced. It just happened with the underdog
Yeah,
coming through. That's what it
because
is.
it's relevant to most of the population that you see
Yeah.
yourself as an underdog, pushing yourself through the world and the trials and tribulations that you come across.
Well,
And
it's the
when you
same
see
now
somebody
with,
that's listed as that underdog, you resonate with them.
yeah, and like the same now with the bloodline with the finger. Like, acknowledge me. Like, Romans acknowledge me, but just the
Yeah,
one finger. But you see the crowd all doing it.
I know, I know.
So it's like there's a movement if you get it right. And yeah, it's great to see. And yeah, it's just like I said, there's so much going on at the moment. But
There is, and
obviously,
obviously there's been a couple of weeks that we've had to unpack tonight, and it's difficult to stay on track because there is so much happening, and there has so much that's happened that you want to touch base on everything, and you talk about one thing, and then your mind goes, "Oh, actually, with relation to that, let's move over to Raw." I mean, I don't care if the podcast is a bit jumbled tonight. I'm just having
well,
fun chatting and catching up with
I think
everything.
I think it's been a lot more progressive this way, to be honest with you, because we can
I think so.
catch on with each thing. But one guy I want to talk about, right, who's
Right?
really impressed me since seeing him in these better matches, or
Yeah.
better match at this point anyway, Bron Breakker.
Oh, yes.
So obviously, the last time we saw him was when he was just pissed off with Pierce
Yeah.
for not putting him in
To
the
not put him
initial
in.
King of the
Yeah,
Ring.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
then obviously the week after he was put into another stupid 10-second match. But he literally, that jobber he's never going to wrestle again, bless him. I feel
I don't
so
think so.
sorry for him
I hope
because
WWE said at least, look, come in, take it. We'll pay for your medical. We're not going to
we'll
pay you for
we'll
tonight, but we'll
we'll
pay
pay,
for your medical because you're going
or
to need it.
we'll just set you up for
Yeah, yeah,
life. Like,
exactly. Yeah,
don't worry. But Jesus Christ, did they let Bron rip that
I know.
guy in to pieces? Like,
Yeah.
the spear that he put through him.
It,
Oh my God.
his spear for me, and you look at everybody that's done the spear, you look at the likes of Bill Goldberg, Batista, Edge, Roman Reigns, and plenty of others that do it as well that have taken it to their own. Like Christian even borrowed Edge's spear after Edge retired, and then obviously Jey Uso now doing the spear. There's so many people that have done the spears, but nobody hits it like Bron. And the reason is that that speed is just immense.
What was
How
it I
can a man
see?
that size move that damn fast?
Well, yeah, what was it I see? That I think it was Cole that said it, but he was like, someone obviously clocked how quick he
Yeah,
can go, and I think it was like 30 miles an hour, something like that,
just
25, 30 miles an
ridiculous.
hour,
When
that
you're
the
that
speed he was
big,
building
yeah, when
in
you're
that,
that big, you
just in
should
that little
not be
bit
able
as
to
well.
move.
Like, and
He
yeah,
gets
like,
so much behind it.
but he
That's why
just,
it's so damn scary.
he absolutely destroyed the guy. And then obviously backstage when you had Dragunov and having his
And
promo, and
Ricochet,
then Ricochet appeared, and then Bron was just like, "No, I'm sending you straight through these crates here, mate," with another
wrecking
spear, and
you
walked
through these,
off.
yeah.
And then obviously they had their match the week after, which I thought was a great match. And
I mean,
that mo-
Ricochet's a great talent. You're always going to have a good match with
that
Ricochet, and when you
what
put
was the
two good
move?
talents together,
The move that Bron, when Ricochet went to the top, and then Bron just like ran straight up, jumped up onto the top rope,
it's called the
put his arms
Frankenstein.
out. That's
This
it, the
is so. Do you
start.
know where that comes? So that actually comes from Big
But
Papa Pump. That's Scott Steiner's move. He
the
labelled that the
motion,
Frankenstein.
if you like it, when you watch it in fast motion and slow motion,
Yeah.
there's no there's no jolt to it. It's all in
No,
one.
it's all one smooth movement. Yeah.
It was perfect. And obviously, like, I've seen the angles of Cole and McAfee watching it, and you just the two different reactions you get of Cole jumping out, just like holy shit, and McAfee just
Yeah.
like Like, what
No,
the
but see,
fuck?
Cole's seen it before with Big Papa Pump, but
But you don't think someone
McAfee
else
would
is
never. No.
gonna
But
take it
he's
on
got
and
that.
perfect
I
it? But
love the fact that Braun Breaker has said that he doesn't want to take on his uncle's and his dad's identity, and he wants to make his own name for himself, which is why he's not gone with Braun Steiner.
yeah,
But you just see it. You just see that animal
yeah,
inside of him that was he is the perfect mixture of the Steiner brothers in one person.
he's just unreal. Like, honestly,
Yeah,
like
he's crazy. And they
he's
are giving him a massive push. They want him to be the next Goldberg, but he's going to be better than Goldberg. But
or
Goldberg was great.
Lesnar,
He was
like
stiff.
either, isn't
Yeah,
it?
or even Lesnar.
They were both feared
I mean, he's still so
competitors,
young as
and
well. I think he's only like 24 or 25.
that's insane. Like, and like I say, Braun's got that about him. Like, he can be so feared in that ring because of what he can do. Like, he can tear you apart. Like, he can rip you limb from limb. He's
I
not.
want to see. I want to see a triple threat between three massive men, and it makes no sense at this point in time because there's no story for it. But I want to see Bronson Reed versus Braun Strowman versus Braun Breaker.
Oh, another monster clash.
Yeah, exactly. A clash of the Titans.
Like, if Lesnar was still in the business, could you imagine Breaker versus Lesnar?
God.
Like,
I mean, my only fear for that would be, and it's no disrespect to any of them. It's just, but if you just look at history, if you look at the hype that was behind Goldberg and Lesnar, and it was so disappointing. It was
yeah, but
such
that was just
disappointment.
yeah. But then you're putting an aged Goldberg in that match, and Lesnar.
No, I mean, yeah, but even though the first match that they did years and years ago when they were both in their
True.
primes, it was terrible. It was an awful
Yeah,
match.
like yeah, I get what you mean. It's like, but you'd love to. I don't know. You just love to see that on the poster.
I mean, I would love to see it. I think because Brock Lesnar, although he is a part timer, Brock Lesnar is the only, other than Roman, I think, because obviously Roman was undefeated for so long, from a storyline basis and a fearful basis, Brock Lesnar, in my mind, at the moment, is the only person that you could beat and people would go, holy shit, that man is something special. You know,
Yeah.
in a storyline perspective of that's the man to be feared. And although Cody beat Brock Lesnar and Brock shook his hand as if to say, you know, like, I would pass the torch, if Brock Lesnar did come back and they let Bron Breakker run through Lesnar, that would just solidify him as an absolute fucking monster.
100% is. Oh, just picture it, kind of
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
holding
And I'd love,
holding a belt, holding the world heavyweight title. Like, I think that's
yeah,
his the major push that he's going to get. He's going to skip the belt.
I
He's
think
going to
so.
skip the Intercontinental.
I
He
think he's
doesn't
just
need
going
to
to
be
run
in that,
through the mid card, get himself. I mean, the great thing is he's had his match with Ricochet. Ricochet is a fantastic talent. Hasn't had the push that he's deserved in WWE.
and he's off,
Um, and
confirmed.
he's off, and understandably so. He's probably grown a bit tired and gone, "Do you know what? I'm not going to get any further. I'm getting older. I want to go and do something where I'm actually going to make something of myself, and I'm going to be treated with what I need and what I deserve."
Yeah, like you
And fair
can't.
play to him.
That's what I was going to say. You can't sit there and say, "What's he doing? Why is he doing that?"
Yeah,
I just feel that there's better talent and better stories on, unfortunately for him, on that Raw roster. That
yeah.
it'll be a while before he gets
Where does
recognised.
he go now? This is the question I wanted to ask you. I know that obviously we
Well,
covered
obviously
WWE.
the first one that enters your mouth is AEW and the money that they can throw at him. And
Yeah, because
obviously
Tony Khan's
Will
gone from being
Ospreay's
legit.
been bigging him up as well, hasn't he? Because obviously
Yeah,
he's been going back to the indie days. But
and they would be another amazing match between those two.
I've
They've got
also
similar
seen
styles. They're fantastic.
a rumor of him possibly going to TNA
See, I love the fact that he'd go to TNA because I think
as
AEW would
part of
be.
a deal.
He'd get lost in the shuffle. AEW have got so much money. They bring so many people in because of the money. And Tony
Mm,
Khan, again, it's like WWE going, oh, we want to bring this person over. And they get lost in the shuffle when they do that. AEW have done exactly the same. You know, you look at the people they have brought over because of the money they've got backing them, and they just get lost in the shuffle. And there's no storyline for them. And you get the same old pushes. You know, like at the moment, who is it? The Young Bucks. The Young Bucks are rating killers. Everybody dislikes the Young Bucks because they're ratings killers, but yet they're forced down your throats every week on TV. Because
Well, this
AEW don't
is-
write good stories. He would be better suited and be better utilized at TNA, where they've got a slightly smaller roster. Okay, not as big a audience as AEW or WWE, but he'd be doing better wrestling.
yeah, like, and yeah, because on that rumor of him with TNA, it's obviously it's like a backing an agreement with WWE to go that way because then obviously with this whole TNA
Well,
and
that's what I wanted to
NXT
talk to you about
crossover
next.
that is massive at the moment and the forbidden door
Yeah,
is wide open, there's a chance that he can come back in and like go through NXT and back up into
yeah,
the main roster again. Like
and that's I wanted
there's
to
a
touch
huge
base on with you with that as well.
opportunity,
Oh
but a
yeah,
lot.
absolutely. Wherever he goes, he's going to be. If they do it right, he'll be given a great shot. Like if he went to TNA, he'd have a great push. Look at Mustafa Ali. Mustafa Ali got
Yeah,
pushed out the door by WWE. He's now X Division champion over at TNA. Ricochet would be perfect for the X Division because it is for high flyers, and they do amazing matches in the X Division. It's one reason that I always watched TNA when TNA was at its peak, when it was a bit older, when it was a bit younger, and they always had incredible matches that you just go, holy fuck, I want to watch that
mm,
again. I want to see that again next week.
yeah.
So he could be utilized really well.
So yeah, it's like, and then yeah, obviously on that door, that forbidden door that's wide open.
Um, Jordan
What a
Grace made
move
sure
though.
that smashed open, didn't he?
Honestly
He,
though,
she, sorry.
what a move to just obviously throw any slight competition you've got
Yeah.
away and say this is it now. Like, how can you respond? How could any
They opened that
promotion
door with the
respond to
link
that?
with They opened that door with the link with Mickey James, didn't they? When they brought James as TNA champion to the Rumble, and then they
Mm.
followed it up the following year with Jordan Grace and gone, okay, well here's women's TNA, here's the Knockouts TNA champion, Jordan Grace, and now all of a sudden she shows up at NXT
Well,
and
she's on tonight's card to
she's had a match on NXT wearing her
yeah.
NXT jacket, and she's got
Oh,
a title shot at Battlegrounds. I
that
love that.
merch that was
I
fucking
love
beautiful.
that. I love that NXT. I
And
think that's
so
fantastic.
I don't know how true this is, right? But there's the picture. Obviously, you've got the current picture of her and Shawn Michaels with his chef hat
Yeah,
on,
yeah.
and then obviously there's a throwback picture of a young girl and Shawn Michaels with his chef hat on, and apparently the young girl is Jordana Grace,
It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if it is Jordan,
which
yeah.
is fucking mental.
Because
And
she was offered, I think she was offered to sign for WWE, and there's
yeah,
been interviews with her recently as, why didn't you take that opportunity? She obviously had her reasons. I've not read into it myself, but she
no,
obviously had
yeah, I
her
see that.
reasons. But look at it now. Yeah, okay, years later, but you're there. You've opened that door, and nobody, I mean, 10 years ago, you wouldn't have even said TNA in WWE. You wouldn't be allowed to say TNA. They wiped the history. Like when AJ Styles first came over and Vince was there, they didn't discuss that AJ Styles was a multiple time world champion over at TNA. His record was wiped, and it was okay. He's an IWGP champion. Why were they allowed to keep that in there? Because he and Brock Lesnar at the time were the only two Americans to have ever won it. That's why.
But it is a
So I
great.
love it. I wasn't sure about it at first, as you know. I did say to you, I'm not so sure this is a great move, but actually, looking at it now and the fact that they're doing it with NXT rather than SmackDown or Raw,
Yeah, yeah.
I think is a much better way of doing it because you've got the young talent coming up from NXT. You've got TNA, which is a lot smaller audience wise than
But they've
SmackDown or
got some
Raw.
really good wrestlers
Yeah,
in there. They've got like
they
some
have.
real
They've got
good
Josh
talent.
Alexander, you've got Moose, you've got Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin, you've got Jordan Grace. I
Obviously,
don't
you've
know
got
too
still got
much of the
Ziegler
women's
there.
wrestlers. Yeah, exactly. You got Mustafa Ali. He went over there. Dolph Ziggler's there, of course. You've got Sammy Callahan, who's an absolute fucking mental case.
But
It's going to
it
be, yeah.
works. it works because NXT, like I say, is hot shit. Like
Yeah,
they with NXT, it's done perfectly because obviously they do smaller arenas,
yep,
pack it out. The fans are right on the ring, like,
yeah. They're like
and
literally
so
5 feet away from the ringside. Yeah,
it's a proper old school move
yep.
of wrestling back in the day, and you put it into NXT and the talent down there. You get some fucking
Yeah.
shit hot
You know
matches in
what
that.
I want to see is, and I love the fact that they're doing Jordan Grace against Roxanne Perez. What I would love to see is, yeah, they've said, okay, we're going to put the NXT Championship on the line against Jordan. Why didn't they make it a double championship match?
Mm.
I would love to see that.
There's obviously something that we don't know why they couldn't
Yeah,
do
there's
it.
obviously a reason there isn't, but it's got. I mean, I'd love to see now. Okay, he's got this angle with Ethan Page, who's obviously signed from AEW. He left AEW and came to WWE. He's now
Massive
in
coup that.
NXT. He's great, and Ethan Page did not get the push that he deserved at AEW. He's really good, but again, Sean Spears, he isn't getting the push that I thought he was going to get. With WWE, I thought he would have got a bit of a bigger push, but Trick Williams against Moose, TNA champion, NXT champion. I think that would be awesome. That'd be a
uh,
great match.
there's potential for it, and like I
Yeah,
say,
yeah,
with
definitely.
like Ethan Page, like no one knew about it other than
No,
just a couple of people. It sort of
yeah, yeah.
just no one expects like I say, no one expected it, and all of a sudden he just appears like and just
But
causes absolute
every,
chaos.
everybody's praising Triple H and Shawn Michaels. They're going to just let they're cooking. You let them cook. And like you said, chef hat. Shawn Michaels is definitely wearing his chef hat at the moment, running
Ain't it
NXT.
funny though that the two guys that are running WWE were back in the day two guys that hated corporate,
Yeah,
and now
yeah,
they
they
are
did,
corporate and they're
and they
running
are
shit.
corporate,
Like,
but they're not corporate with it, if you know what I mean. And I
yeah,
think the thing is although Vince McMahon grew up around wrestling because obviously he took over from Vince Senior, so he grew up around wrestling. I think the fact that you've got two guys that know the business from a wrestling standpoint
yeah, they
and
know how talent
have
works.
have they've done it the other way. Vince has learned wrestling, but being corporate, they have been wrestling and now they're learning corporate. And I
Mm.
think that works really well. I think that works really well.
It was definitely the right move to get
Yeah, I think so.
them in on board, especially like imagine like being an NXT wrestler and like you've got to look up to Shawn Michaels. Like how insane is
Yeah.
that?
How do you look up that? Yeah, I mean, the
Not
guy's a
just that,
legend.
like obviously other legends that you've got around
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
down there.
because he
It's
brings them
like
in. And then I also just want to touch base. Sorry, speaking of legends and AEW and not knowing about stuff, I'm really intrigued to see what's going to happen with Jake Hager and Mark Henry because both of them have left AEW. Both of them are former WWE.
there's a, I I don't know. I don't think Henry as much. I don't think there's. I think he's more.
There's no storyline there for Mark, but there might be a backstage role for Mark.
Backstage, being a backstage
That's what I
guy, yeah,
mean. I think
like as a
I think that
something like that. But as a wrestler, I don't think
no,
there's anything there
there's
for him, and
nothing there for him story wise.
I don't think
I
for him
agree.
that he would probably take it anyway as a wrestler now. I think them days are
Jake
behind him.
Hager, on the other hand, aka Jack Swagger, he could still shuffle in the ring. I mean, he has got MMA experience. Obviously, he went out and he was undefeated in Bellator.
I think
Um,
NXT is a quite a good fit for him as well, in the sense he could go the
yeah, yeah,
Corbin way. He could do the
he could
Baron
do.
Corbin route.
Yeah, he could help elevate them, or he could join up with someone to create a hell of a tag team. He could go that route.
Like
That
there
would
was
be. Oh,
nothing.
could you imagine?
I never, I never like thought there was anything wrong with like Jack Swagger back in the day.
I didn't like. I didn't
I just
like what
thought
they
the
did with him.
push was
I
a bit
liked his.
shit.
Yeah, his push was crap. His world title run was terrible. I don't think
As a mid
that
carder,
he.
I thought he was great.
Yeah, he
I
would have
thought
been good,
it
and
was that was his level though. That was his level. Like it was,
yeah,
he excelled at a mid, but putting him on the top tier, it ruined him. It absolutely ruined him.
yeah, I think so. I mean, he had that world championship run, but I don't. I mean, his
It's a
promos were
forgettable
shit
run
back
though.
then. His promos were shit back then. I don't know what. I don't really watch AEW. I know he's been aligned with Chris Jericho. Maybe he's learned a lot under Chris Jericho.
Fringe
But I
Jericho, as
do
I've
like the
seen
fact
a
that
lot.
I do like the fact that he's been having fun over at AEW. He's been wearing his little hippie style bucket hats like he's at a festival, and he's more himself. He seems more at home. But also the man is massive. He's jacked.
Mm.
I think
He's always
he
been
was a
big though, isn't
national.
he?
Yeah, he's always been big, but he's a national one. He was a division champion wrestler throughout the US, like Mat Wrestling, and I think he could do really well. But it
Yeah,
depends where he goes. He might end up going to TNA. Who knows?
yeah. There's that door. It's like another door open though, isn't it, towards WWE?
Yeah, exactly. But then you've also got links now inside TNA from WWE as well, which helps because Matt Hardy
Mm.
obviously has been showing up at TNA. He's got a championship match against Moose coming up.
Speaking of
Um,
contracts expiring, Jeff, his contract's up.
no, I love Jeff. Jeff was my favorite wrestler growing up next to Randy Savage. Jeff was my favorite wrestler for a long time. I've got a lot of respect for him. Jeff's fallen off the wagon. He's got to the
He's just
point
had a
that I
lot of
think
problems though, isn't he? That's
he's had a lot of problems with his mental health and drug abuse and stuff like that. And I think it's had a detrimental effect on his
it's
ability
sad to
to
see
wrestle.
though. Like it really is. It's hard to
It is
watch at
sad,
times
yeah.
because that's like for me. That's who basically like when I got into wrestling. That was him and Matt were like
Yeah.
the tag teams that I
Well,
idolized. And
being a smaller stature and not built massively, as a kid, I was agile. So mine was like, okay, I could hit a swanton bomb off the top turnbuckle, I could hit a 450. Jeff was who you looked up to. And it was just his style and his not just of fighting, but and he was never great at promos. But when he won the WWE Championship for against Triple H and Edge, I was like, oh my! I mean,
yeah,
I was so incredibly
and
excited.
then like obviously bring like having brilliant match like the brilliant match against like the American Badass, but
Yeah,
obviously Undertaker, and then like Undertaker respecting that as well though. Like
the fact that he kept pushing. I mean, Undertaker decimated him, but he just would not stay down. He had that never
no,
die attitude. He always got up and fought for it. But I lost a lot of respect for Jeff. I gained it back, but I lost a lot of respect. I don't know if you were aware of this match, but his match with Sting at TNA for the World Championship.
yeah, I know
You
what you're
could
talking
see
about.
he was just so off his head,
Because
and
Sting was trying to call it, wasn't he? He was literally
Sting
trying to
hated
call the
it.
match off. Like,
Sting fucking crucified him over
yeah,
that.
but Jeff just couldn't. Like, his mind weren't there. It weren't. So he was just trying to do
Yeah,
whatever. But Sting was trying to
exactly.
literally call the match off mid,
But but when you're
and it,
going against someone like Sting, that is the ultimate disrespect, is it not? To show up in that state.
yeah, to a legend of the game, like you
Yeah,
can't do that. If it's like an opening match against like that's pretty meaningless, then okay, like it'll be forgotten about straight away. But
yeah,
well, if Sting's involved, it's
no,
going to be forever there. It will be forever there, and
exactly, it will be. And when it's a world
it,
championship match as well, of all things, you're the world champion, or actually, I think Sting was the world. I can't really remember, but I remember watching it, and I was like, what has he done to himself? And I know obviously he had
like
his issues.
that is the heart like that's the heartbreaking thing to
Yeah,
see because like I say, you're growing up with this wrestler, you've seen
yeah.
him go
But
from
it's
nothing
unfortunate, isn't it? Because
to
we've seen it.
climb every ladder to be every champion, and then
Yeah,
you just fall off like that, and in
I
that
know.
way as well. And it's just
So much promise, isn't there? He's got so much promise and so much talent, but to see him, like even just to see him go the way that he's gone, and I hate to even bring it up because I think the internet's a horrible place at times, and he's doing obviously something that he's passionate about. He loves it, but you see him like on his Instagram, he's singing these a cappella songs that he's written, and I mean, he's clearly tone deaf. He can't sing for toffee, but and he's getting loads of shit given to him. Like, don't give up your day job, mate. Don't give up your day job, um, because
it's
it
tough.
is so bad. And he's obviously trying to do something that he loves away from wrestling, and I respect that. And I respect that he's not taking into consideration what people are saying to him, and he's pushing through it because that's a mentally strong person. Because if you let somebody go, oh, like one person that you've never met in your life say something on the internet, and it drags you down, you know, that's. I mean, I've had it happen to me. I've had comments on stuff that I've done on the internet, and I've gone, oh, I'm not doing that again. You know,
It's easy because it's like you can overlook some horrible comments, but yeah,
yeah,
there's always a comment that hits the nerve.
yeah. I think so. There's always one, and if you, it's, I think it's your character. It shows your character if you can push through it, but it also shows a lot about that person
Mm.
that said that comment. But yeah, no, I mean, I think honestly, it's time for Jeff to retire,
Yeah, like that when
and
they
I
came
hate to
back
say that.
at WrestleMania, and obviously you could see he looked born again in that sense. Like he looked
Yeah,
fresh, but
but AEW
and then
he doesn't
obviously
look like that.
after that again, like then they lost the titles, he sort of just fell off the wagon again.
Yeah. And he hasn't looked right for a while, and I hate to say it because I have got the utmost respect for Jeff Hardy. You know, he's taken himself into rehab, and yes, he's had a couple of relapses, but he's put himself back, and he's bounced back, not to the top of his game, but he's still bounced himself back into a position where he has shown that he can do, and you can't
Mm.
help but not respect that. But for me, I think it is time to hang up the boots.
Yeah, it's I would just love to see that just one last pop of the Hardy Boys with
Yeah,
Lita
I know
as
what you
well
mean.
coming down to the ring.
No, I don't think that would ever happen. Not after what happened with Matt Hardy and fucking Lita in the past with
No, no, but
Edge.
you know what I mean. Though it's
Yeah,
just that one, the band back together, just one last pop because oh, the nostalgia in that would be insane.
I know. Dude, can I just pause for 2 seconds? Is that all right?